Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the journey of meditative concentration, a practice known as Jhāna. We'll be using the teachings of Ajaan Lee Dhammadharo to map out, step by step, how the mind can be trained to go from its usual scattered state to a place of really profound and unshakable peace.
All right, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we need to know where we're headed, so we'll look at the goal. Right concentration. Then, we're going to walk through each of the 4 stages of this mental journey, one by one, and to wrap it all up, we'll see why this whole process is so incredibly important for gaining real wisdom. You know, before you start climbing a ladder, it helps to know what's at the top, right? Well, the whole point of this practice is to achieve what's called right concentration. And that means training the mind to be, as the source puts it, firm and unflinching, totally steady, no matter what kind of thoughts or moods try to knock it off balance. So, this is absolutely key. Jhāna isn't about spacing out or emptying your mind. Not at all. It's an active skill. It's about gathering up all that scattered mental energy, cleaning out the gunk, the distractions and desires, and then focusing it with laser-like precision onto one single thing, like your breath. Okay, so we've got our goal in sight. Let's take that first step. This is where the heavy lifting happens, where we have to actively work to get the mind to focus and, more importantly, stay focused. Now, what's so fascinating here is that this first stage is actually, it's pretty busy. You've got directed thought, which is you telling your mind, hey, focus on the breath. Then there's evaluation, where you're kind of checking in, adjusting, getting a feel for it. And what happens when you do that work? You get the payoff. Rapture and pleasure start to bubble up. And the whole thing is held together by that singleness of preoccupation, keeping the mind from wandering off. And that quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly sums up the job of this first stage. It's all about taming that monkey mind, giving it an anchor so it can finally stop jumping all over the place and find a little bit of rest. Okay, so once we've established that solid foundation, the mind can finally start to relax a bit. The initial card work is done. Now it can settle into a deeper state, one that feels much more effortless. So what's missing here? Take a look. The first 2 factors, that directed thought and evaluation, they're gone. They've just fallen away. At this point, the mind has had a taste of that rapture and pleasure, and those feelings are now so strong they can hold the mind's attention all by themselves. You don't have to consciously try to focus anymore. This chart just lays it out so clearly. As your concentration gets stronger and deeper, you start to let go of the mental training wheels. The mind becomes so stable that it doesn't need to think about the breath or analyze it anymore. It just stays with it. It just knows. As the mind settles down even more, we hit this next level of refinement. And here, something interesting happens. Even that exciting, energetic feeling of rapture starts to fade away, and it's replaced by a pleasure that's much more subtle, much more profound. And now we're down to just 2 factors. That buzzy, energetic quality of rapture is now seen as a kind of subtle disturbance, so it gets let go of. What you're left with is this deep, solitary sense of ease, a profound stillness where the mind is just completely one with its object. I mean, what a powerful description from the text. You can almost feel it. It's talking about an experience where your body and your mind become totally still, filled with this gentle, bright, pleasant energy. You could be in a packed room, but your mind would feel completely solitary and peaceful. And now, we've reached the very peak of this journey. This is a state of perfect, absolute balance, where the mind goes beyond even the slightest attachment to feeling good. So in this final stage, the mind even lets go of that refined pleasure from the 3rd jhana, and what replaces it is this profound, unshakable equanimity. It's perfectly poised, just resting on that solid foundation of a totally unified focus. And this is the critical shift right here. It's a move away from just feeling good and toward being perfectly balanced. Now, equanimity isn't about being indifferent or numb. It's a radiant, clear awareness that is just completely free from any reaction, from any liking or disliking. It just observes. This quote captures the soul of the 4th jhana. The mind finally lets go of rehashing the past or worrying about the future. It just rests, powerful, clear, in the absolute stillness of the present moment, completely and totally at peace. So, we've traced this incredible path from the busyness of our own thoughts all the way to the silence of pure equanimity. And that brings up a pretty important question. What's the point? Why go through all this trouble to train the mind? And here is the answer. Jhāna isn't actually the final destination. It's about building the perfect tool. By moving through these stages, you're literally forging a mind that is stable, incredibly clear, and powerful. And once you have that tool, you can then use it to look deeply at your own experience and develop what's called liberating insight. And really, this is the question that sits at the very heart of the entire path. The journey through the jhanas builds this unshakable platform of concentration. And from that stable platform, it becomes possible to see things not as we wish they were, but as they truly are, turning simple stillness into profound, life-changing wisdom.